breaking down Liberty sports. This is the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. I'm Randy Rosetta. We're on 100.7 The Score on Fox News Now and on youtube.com/Double T Sports Network. We're jumping into the Patriot Fan Zone. We're going to stay with the baseball theme. Baseball playoffs start this week all over the state of Texas. And if Lamar knew this, 7 of the 8 public school teams in Lubbock, Texas are in the playoffs. When I was putting together the schedule, it took some time and some effort because there's a lot of games going on. Hopefully not interrupted by Mother Nature at all. Hopefully she stays in a good mood. Liberty faces Glen Rose, which that's a pretty familiar basketball opponent the last couple of years, in a Class 4A Division II best-of-3 series. I bet you I'm on the wrong. There we go. They start at 2 p.m. Wednesday at Abilene Christian High School, which if you haven't seen it, it's a very nice new facility. We actually have a brand new football stadium there too. Then 2 p.m. Thursday, and then as of today, Lamar let me know if they go to a third game, that will be 5 p.m.
Yes.
Next Monday, so May 4th. You guys are a little bit different than a lot of teams. You got guys scattered. They're not scattered. They're going to be down the road here at Lowry Field.
Right. We've got a couple kids running in the track meet on Friday and Saturday. Glen Rose also has a kid running in the track meet on Friday and Saturday. So the athletic directors wanted to do everything we could to let all kids participate in all activities, and so we set up that game 3 if necessary on Monday.
I know Gavin has gotten pretty good at switching shoes and being there like just in the nick of time because he's one of your guys.
A couple times.
I remember a few years ago, the kid from Abilene Wiley, who I think was maybe the fastest kid in that district, caught a break because he got to. I think their regional tournament or regional meet was here, and they played at Lubbock Cooper that night, so that was a little bit easier. It's not as easy to get from Lubbock to Abilene.
Right.
Patriots won District 5 4A for the second year in a row. Lost 2 district games in 2 years, and they're taking a little bit of a head of steam into district play. I just asked, I'm about to call him by his son's name, Coach Robertson from Memorial. They lost a game in the last week, which kind of secured things for you guys. You guys lost to them 2 weeks ago. I'm going to get these guys to talk about it because you haven't lost too many district games. Grab that microphone. I know you didn't want to lose, but has that been something that helped you guys kind of sharpen your focus a little bit these last couple of weeks to get ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure.
Hold on a second. I forgot to introduce these guys so they know who's talking.
All right, this is Jaidon Eddins. He's one of our top pitchers. And then Brody Box, shortstop.
Shortstop since freshman year.
He took over partway through the freshman year, his freshman year.
In the playoffs in particular, he was a big key. And Jaidon, were you up as freshman?
Well, he's a senior. His freshman year, he was at Cooper High. We didn't exist.
Okay, there you go. But you were there as a sophomore because I know I've got photos of you on my website. So
yes, sir.
But go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you there. I just wanted to make sure people knew who was talking.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were just kind of all dead for the Memorial game, and then after we lost that game and came back to our next district game, you could just tell everyone had like a full head of steam and was like, we're not going to have this happen again. We're not going to even come close to losing a game. So ever since that loss, you can just tell our team has a different demeanor, and they're ready to run through anybody.
Yeah, kind of what Jaidon said. I think we didn't really just bring the energy like we have in all the other district games, and I think that really showed like what can happen when we do that. But like you see what we can do when we're on our top of our game and all the energy is the same. So I think if we just go into playoffs with energy and just confidence, I think we can really go far, make a run.
And Lamar, we talked about this last time you were in. There's some more incentive for your guys. Got to the playoffs last year and ended a little soon.
Right. We got there last year, played a pretty good Graham team, and game 1 we were ready to go, and we beat their guy, the guy that kind of brought them to where they were, and then man, we just kind of fell short and didn't play so well on games 2 and 3, and so we got a little of that we got to earn back and take that spot back and move on to the second round.
Which I think you can spin things in your direction. And we talked about this last time too, Jaidon. One thing that's different about you guys is you have some seniors. Seniors playoffs are a little bit different when you're a senior. Have you kind of felt that already before you step on the field, that this is going to be a little bit different feeling for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all of us know, all the seniors, we all know that, we lose one game and a lot of us are done playing baseball forever. There are a few of us that are going to play somewhere, but the majority is once we lose, we're done playing baseball for the rest of our lives. So we're all keeping that in the back of our heads, like, we got to come out here and win. We got to give whatever we can.
Yeah, that's something you've not gotten to coach the last couple of years. This is a unique thing for you this year.
We finally got here. They have that sense of urgency, that senior year, that like, this is it, man. We're going out. Let's go out strong.
You had to plan a senior night. You had to work around graduation. And you've done that before, places you've coached. But you coaches out there got a little complacent. You didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it was. We got to avoid a few things for a couple of years. It was kind of nice.
But you've been good for 3 years. That's not changed at all. We're coming up on a break. Before we go there, this team has been different than the last two. What is this team really good at right now that's going to pay dividends here starting Wednesday?
Offensively, we have really stepped it up. I mean, all year the offense has been better, but here in the last couple of weeks, we really started to hit on all cylinders and getting, hits all through the order. It's just hard to find a weak spot in there. A lot of kids hitting the ball.
And what you mentioned against Graham, I remember I went to the first game, and then I don't know if weather intervened, but I had to wind up somewhere else. And knowing that you guys didn't score a ton in those last 2 games, you've got a team that I think is a little bit better equipped to not let that happen. They're going to have to outscore you. I know that's always the case, but they're going to have to put up some runs. Let's put it that way. Coming up on the first break, we'll come back and talk more Liberty Patriot baseball after this on the High School Fan Zone.
Bringing you the latest news from Liberty Athletics. This is the Patriot Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. We are talking high school baseball because the playoffs are this week. I'm going to run through the playoff schedule real quick, and I'll do it fast because, like I said, there's a bunch of them. In Class 6A Division II, Friendship faces El Paso Coronado. That's a best-of-3 series in Monahans. 6 p.m. Thursday, noon Friday, and then 30 minutes later. 5A Division I, Monterey was on tonight. They play Abilene High, best-of-3 at the Andrews Baseball Complex. It's a place that Lamar knows a little bit. 5 p.m. Thursday, 11 a.m. Friday, 30 minutes later if necessary. Lubbock Cooper is in the 5A Division II bracket against Wichita Falls Memorial. This just got changed today. They play 5 p.m. Wednesday in Wichita Falls at Hoskins Field. Then 1 p.m. Saturday at First United Bank Ballpark out on Woodrow Road, 30 minutes later if necessary. Coronado's also in Division II, 5A. They play Abilene Wiley. They play at Holiday High School. I haven't found the official name. Have you guys ever played up there? Holiday? No. It's a brand new facility. It sounds like it's very similar to Eula. I think it's multiple fields. They called it the Field of Dreams, but I told the guy I was talking to, I'm very hesitant to call anything the Field of Dreams because I'm a very big fan of that movie. 6 p.m. Friday, 1 p.m. Saturday. I don't think that's 6 p.m. Friday, 1 p.m. Saturday. 4A Division I, Memorial plays Mineral Wells, best-of-3 series at Crutcher Scott Field at ACU in Abilene. 7 p.m. Friday, noon Saturday, then 30 minutes later. Estacado is also in Division I against Stephenville. Best-of-3 series also at Crutcher Scott Field. Their days are different. 7 p.m. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Friday, and then 5 p.m. Saturday. I want to double check on that, but I don't think that's changed. The Patriots are against Glen Rose. Best-of-3 series at Abilene Christian High School, 2 p.m. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Thursday, and the IF game is 5 p.m. on May 4th. Levelland's the last public school team in. They play Brock. Like I said, they drew the toughest draw out of that group. They play at 4 p.m. Thursday at ACU, 4 p.m. Friday at Eula High School, where Liberty played last year, and then 30 minutes later if necessary. So plenty of baseball going on. You may have to hit the road and go to Abilene or Wichita Falls, but you won't have to work hard to find some good high school playoff baseball. This team you're facing, Lamar, you said you haven't looked at them too much. You do know that district they're in has been good in a lot of things. Is there a style? Do they play baseball a certain way that you have to be ready for?
They do have a district that's got some really quality teams in there. They're a team that doesn't rely on one pitcher. They don't walk anybody. They're going to make you earn it. They're going to throw strikes, make you put the ball in play. They're not necessarily a big small ball team, but they are going to do that. They will bunt a guy over and try to manufacture some things that way. We did actually see Glen Rose last year in a tournament. They did graduate several, but we did have a look at them last year one time.
All right, Brody, grab that mic because we were just talking about offensively. You guys have done a lot of good things this year. Better offensively than you have been last year. First year's a little bit hard to gauge because I was playing against 3A teams most of the time. What does this team have to consistently do for 2 or 3 games against Glen Rose to keep playing on?
I think if we just consistently catch a barrel on the ball, we'll find holes in the gap and holes in their defense that they won't be able to get to. And what we do really good at is when runners are on bag, we do really good at getting them in, no matter if it's an error or hard hit balls somewhere. So we do really good at that. I think if we consistently do that, we'll be all right.
Because if the 2 low-scoring games against Graham last year, without seeing them, I'm going to guess that moving runners and scoring when you needed to probably eluded you a little bit at times.
Yeah, we never came through. We had people on base. We just couldn't get that big hit at the right time.
Jaidon, you're going to be on the mound at least once. What do you have to do against them to give you guys the best chance to win?
Just fill up the zone, try and go as deep as I can. We've lost our best pitcher, so we're down a guy. We're going to have to eat up innings and make sure we can go deep into games, not having an extra pitcher.
I'm going to make you blush here a little bit because I just was telling you last year I watched you when you were just coming out of the bullpen late in games, and you had a good reliever's personality. Well, now you're pitching, you're going deeper. You're starting games. Where did you how did that kind of evolve from end of last year to the start of this year?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't really do anything over the summer. I didn't play summer ball. I didn't work on starting a whole game or going deep into a game. So it was something I had a feel for, but just knowing this year that an extra guy to start the game wouldn't hurt, I just kind of worked with it and stuck with it.
That's a good segue. When we come back after this break, we're going to talk to Lamar about what the pitching staff has to do starting this week in the first round of the playoffs after this break on the High School Fan Zone.
Breaking down Liberty sports. This is the Patriot Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We have one more segment to talk about Liberty Patriot baseball. I kind of got Jaidon to talk about what he had to do, and he mentioned he'll be on the mound for one game. Lamar, you get to a 3-game series. Coaches, you got to start mapping that all out. Who are some other guys that you're going to be counting on? Yeah. We were just talking about Jackson Funk as a freshman. Doesn't play anymore, but it was a game where you probably weren't going to win, and he soaked up to some innings. You don't want to have to be in that spot, but who are some guys that...
Sure. And we've got a lot of guys, that have been really good at times for us this year, and we've got some guys that are throwing really well right now. Jaden's last outing was excellent, and Maddox Metcalf, his last 3 times he's been out have been very good. Jaden's going to start the first game on Wednesday, and Maddox will start the first game on Thursday. Harrison's last 2 times out have been outstanding. He had some struggles earlier this year, but he has looked really good the last couple times out, And when we had that run his sophomore year, he had 3 excellent starts that year. He had a really good playoff appearance last year in that series. He looked really good. So he's already logged some good playoff innings for us, and like I said, he's looked really good the last couple times out. So he's doing well. Cooper Pierce has been solid for us out of the bullpen all year. He comes in late in the game with a little submarine action that people aren't used to seeing, especially whenever we have been throwing the other guys for the first 5 or 6 innings, and he's been pretty successful for us. So that's the kind of the bulk of it. We do have a couple other guys. Rylan Purdy has had some great innings for us in tournament season, and he'll be ready to help us out if we need him to also. So we got some people.
I guess if you do the math, you've got to have anywhere from 10 to 21 innings out of guys. It doesn't matter how many they are. You just have to figure out how to get through that many innings.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake, right?
Start counting out. Jaidon, did you pitch in the playoffs last year?
I did, yes, sir.
So won't be any butterflies, no nervousness.
No, not at all.
Or what about Maddox? Did Maddox pitch in the playoffs?
Yeah, he had to. I can't remember, but I want to say, it was 3 games. I can't imagine us doing it without him. I would say he probably did throw an inning or 2. Hudson Hefner also threw a little in the playoffs. I didn't even mention him, but he hasn't. I forget about him because he hasn't thrown much this year because he's had a little pectoral injury, but he's just worked his way back from that, and he's thrown about 4 bullpens now, and he got to throw a little bit in the last district game. So he's ready to help us again too. So we got him ready to go.
That's the beauty of 4A baseball. Is one of your pitchers is also your starting center in football.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. No. Coach Musgrave thinks it's hilarious, all the different linemen that we have that play baseball. It really struck him. He didn't expect to see all the linemen coming out for baseball this year.
Not just you guys have just gotten bigger, thicker, stronger through the years. As I mentioned, Brody was talking between takes there. He looked like a freshman 2 years ago. Now looks like he's a full-grown baseball player. Which you get to answer this one, Brody. We've talked about how good you guys can be offensively. We've talked about pitching. That third leg is playing solid defense. And I remember a few years ago, you guys went through a phase where you struggled defensively and then kind of found it in the playoffs. Where are you guys at defensively right now?
I think we've picked up our defense through district. I think we're really well at doing that. Last year we kind of had some struggles of fly balls and hard hit ground balls, but this year we've kind of grown up and we're just really used to it now. So we've picked that up a little bit.
You play on different fields when you get to the playoffs. This is one I assume you guys have never played on before, so you have to kind of get used to that. I've mentioned it's a nice facility. It's not the biggest facility. The ball's going to fly. Which your outfielders may or may not like, I don't know. When you get out there and you start working before a game, how important is that to what you've got to be ready for to understand the different nuances of a field?
It's really important to pay attention to all the details when you're warming up. Like when we do pregame and he starts hitting ground balls to us, that's when I start getting my reads down, and I think the whole team starts getting their reads down there and how the ball bounces and moves and stuff. So we get that down pretty quick and we show it in the games.
So, Lamar, are you one of those superstitious coaches that wants to play on different fields as you go on round by round?
Nah, I really don't have a whole lot of superstition. If we can play on a place that we're comfortable, we've been before, so it's some sort of comfort for us, then I like to do that. But I'm not too worried about it.
The time you played on the place most comfortable to you a few years ago, that wasn't your funnest playoff series. So hopefully we can find a better comfort zone there. Patriots best of 3 series starting at 2 p.m. Wednesday against Glen Rose at Abilene Christian High School, 2 p.m. Thursday, and then if necessary, 5 p.m. Monday, May 4th. That wraps us up. We'll be back Wednesday on the High School Fan Zone. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.